So in this session, like we'll be like discussing about choosing the number of clusters in our clustering algorithms right now. Okay. So I've already like told you how it works, but I'm gonna like give you little deep explanation on this. Okay. So it's actually like based on the nature of the data and the research requirements. So you should know how many clusters that you should have in your data. So even though it's going to be a hierarchical clustering, so you can plot the dendrogram, and then you can like decide on the number of k, but still you have to like tell your algorithm, okay, how many clusters that you need even for the hierarchical clustering. So for all the clustering algorithms, you have to really have to use this method. Okay, so there are like too many different types of methods are available to determine the value of k, okay, in all the clustering algorithms. But there are like three methods which are like very much important and widely used throughout the world in the data science community to determine the value of k. So they are like the elbow method, average slope method, gap statistic method. So this gap statistic method is the recent one which is like proposed by Stanford professors recently, just 1 or 2 decades back. So there is a white paper on that and how it works. Maybe I can also like share you the paper so that you can understand in detail on how it works. Okay, so let's get into how elbow methods work. But before that, I really wanted to know whether do you remember how k-means work and what was the cost function there. So we were able to like calculate distance between within clusters, distance between intra clusters, right? So we were calculating the errors, the sum of squares of data points between clusters, right? So that is actually the cost function used here. Okay, so the total distance within clusters, the sum of square. Okay, so you will be like plotting that in the y-axis, and the x-axis you will be like plotting the number of clusters. So you will be like having a range of clusters from 1 to 10. That's actually the usual range of number of clusters that anyone can have in their data. Okay, so with all the variables, all the different values of k, you will be like running the algorithm, and then like calculating the total within sum of squares, and then you'll be like plotting the graph. Okay, so usually like our main goal is to like optimize this value, right? So when you see, when you have one cluster, it was like around 200. When you like increase it to 2, I mean this value drops. Okay, so and it goes on, and over a period of time, whenever the number of k is being increased, the y-axis values just keep on dropping. Okay, but you can't like have 10 clusters just because you have the least number in the y-axis, because like you should not try to minimize it, but you should try to optimize it, right? So here we are like taking k equal to 4. I mean, why it is called elbow method is because, I mean, this graph looks like elbow, right? I mean, this becomes your hand. So here, so you'll be deciding a point where the curve bends. Okay, that is your optimal value. So that elbow point you are like taking as a number of k. So that is why it is called as a elbow method. Okay. Our next method is average slope method. So it is actually a similar kind of method where we will be having a k values varying from 1 to 10, but here you will be like calculate using the average slope values in the y-axis instead of the total within sum of squares as the previous one. Okay, so here the location of the like a maximum point is considered as the right number of cluster. So the formula to calculate the slope coefficient is x minus y divided by max of x comma y. So here x is nothing but the nearest cluster distance. Okay, so here mean distance between to your next closest cluster, but y is the mean intra cluster distance. Okay, so mean distance to the other instances in the same cluster. Okay, within the same cluster you're calculating the mean distance. Okay, So here you're in the denominator, you'll be like taking any one value which is the maximum one. Okay. So the variable should be like the value of this allowed coefficient should be like varies from -1 to 1. So if the value is 1, it says that the instances like very close to each other, which means that we have a very good cluster. Okay, but if it is around -1, it says that we have our grouping is completely wrong, because the clusters are like not the or not classified right. Okay, so this is how the graph should look like. So here I have the Silhouette score in the y-axis and number of k's in the x-axis. Okay, so I'm like plotting it out. Okay, so it starts with very low Silhouette score in the when x is k equal to 2. For 3, it is like it reached the local minima. I have around 0.47 Silhouette score, but it kind of increased when k is equal to 5. So here we'll be like taking the global minima, which is k equal to 5. So the right number of cluster is 5 here. Okay. So the real difference is here you will be using Silhouette score and taking the maximum value for the right number of clusters, where in the previous method we'll be like taking the total within sum of squares here, and you'll be like taking the optimal number of clusters, not the minimum level, it's actually the optimal number where the curve bends. Okay, next one is a gap statistic method. As I told you before, this is actually like based on the research work of a professor in Stanford University a decade back. Okay, so how it actually works is like when you like you'll be like calculating the same within sum of squares. Remember, that is our cost function, right? So here you'll be like plotting within sum of squares and number of digits same way. So this until this it actually works with the okay. So and we'll be like taking where the curve bends. So when according to the first method, the elbow method, you'll be like taking k is equal to 2. Okay. So let's see what happens in gap statistic. Okay, in the gap statistic method, you'll be like creating a uniform distribution. Okay, you'll be like creating a standard uniform distribution, and then you will be calculating the within sum of square for that distribution. Okay, and then you'll be like plotting both the curves by taking the log of this sum of squares. So when you compute this and then you take a log of this and then keep it, and then you create a standard uniform distribution and then calculate the within sum of squares, and then you take a log of that and you plot both here. So here this is our observed distribution values, and this is the expected distribution values. Okay, so you identify the gaps between these two distribution values, and then you calculate the gap. So and you plot that gap in the another graph. So here you have the number of clusters at the x-axis as usual. So here you're doing the applying the algorithm for the observed values as well as for the expected values. Okay, and then you're plotting the sum of squares after taking the logarithmic values, and then you calculate the gaps between these two values, and then you're plotting it here. Okay, so when the gap is maximum, you're taking that value as your number of clusters. So here it's around 2. Okay, so here the formula is nothing but you're taking a logarithmic value of the sum of squares, which is and then you're subtracting it with the logarithmic value of your sum of squares of the usual right distribution. So this actually log of wk is your normal distribution values, your data set, and this is your log values of your what do you call your expected uniform distribution. Okay, so after the first elbow method, you're taking logarithmic and then calculating the deviation between the observed and expected logarithmic values of within sum of squares, and then you're plotting it and then taking the maximum gap.